When you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not. When you're on the pot, give it all you got. When you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not. When you're hot, give it all you got. It stings when I pee. It burns
Now
when I
that's
pee,
a
when I push
solid
real
start.
hard.
Yeah, I think so. It doesn't go that well.
And it burns when I poo, when I push real hard. Things don't go that well.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Fantastic.
Oh, man. What?
Welcome to the first episode.
Yeah, first episode. Yeah. I think it's going to be called What Smells with Brad and Dan. I don't care which one goes first. Also, it's not Dan, it's Daniel.
I was going to say, I don't know anybody that calls you Dan at all.
Yeah, well, there's not many left.
Does your mom call you Dan?
No.
Didn't think so.
I have an aunt that calls me Dan. That's pretty much it. There's Big D is mainly what she called me, but
Big D.
now that you laugh, that is... I see other connotations.
Wah, wah.
Oh, it's probably not that.
Yeah, probably not.
Oh, gosh.
My aunt always called me Big D. That is the soundtrack to your poor nickname.
Oh, God. That's... Yeah, it fits.
Indeed. Hey, my parents, well, not necessarily my parents, just my mom. She kind of does the same thing. I guess my dad kind of does, but everybody I know calls me Brad, but my parents never stopped calling me Bradley.
I'm pretty sure I was the last not parent that still called you Bradley. Because when I would come over, it was funny because everyone's like, Brad. And I'd be like, hey, Bradley. And everyone just kind of look at you funny. It's like, Bradley.
You went with full-blown Bradley, though, where my parents would, well, my mom specifically would omit the D, so it was just Browley.
Bradley, come get your chili soup.
Exactly. I have come to appreciate it for what it is.
Hey, at least you know who's calling you. You hear someone go, Bradley. You'll be like, Mom?
Yeah. If I hear the name Browley called.
Bradley. You need a t-shirt that just says Bradley.
Why would I wear a T-shirt with a nickname of my own on it?
It'd make me laugh. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. If your clothing is not for comedic effect with other people, then you're not dressing correctly.
I'm going to get a shirt that says Bradley.
There you go. I can't wear it. It's my own nickname. That's why you got to wear it.
Oh, it'd be worse, though, if you made up your own nickname and then put that on a shirt and wore it around. Like, I'm Big P. It's like, that's an awful name.
Yeah, that's like an Always Sunny thing where they've tried to come up with their own nicknames. And it didn't go well, needless to say.
I always went with JD double dollar sign.
JD, for you? Oh, you're John Daniel.
That's right.
I forgot.
Yeah, I did too the first 3 days of college.
Oh, it was like all your paperwork done as John Daniel?
Yeah, I think the first 3 days I was absent because they're like, John Young. I'm like, who's this guy? He's never showing up to class. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's my first name.
I've been absent the whole time, but not really.
Yeah.
Just on paper. Hey, sometimes the names on paperwork gets a little mixed up because when I first started college at Lakeland, my counselor or guidance dude or whoever the heck helped me find all the classes I needed to take, they would put the first initial of the first name and then the last name. Well,
So you're Beversole?
oh, well, no, this is more so for the counselor guys. And the guy that was helping me out get all my stuff set up, his name was Randy Aper. So the paperwork said R. Aper. So I show up to school and I realize that I'm supposed to report to the raper to figure out what classes I need to take.
Well, I'll show you what classes to take.
Come on into the back room. The raper will help you out. Needless to say, I was a little hesitant.
Now, he does not need a shirt with his nickname on it.
Correct. It loses all comedic value when you walk around in public with it.
Oh, every time I hear something like that, I always think of Arrested Development, where where he combines that he's an analyst and a therapist, so he becomes an alrapist.
Yes,
And
he's the world's first anal rapist.
You read the card, it's just anal rapist.
Classic Tobias move.
No, I'm afraid I just blew myself.
There's got to be a better way to say that.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Hey, search for Bubba's Bounce on there.
But wait, spell that?
BUBS bounce.
Here we go. Bub's bounce. Oh wait, I think I paused it.
You did. There we go.
Make my bub bounce. Just make my bub bounce. Try and make my bub bounce. Come and make my bub bounce.
What is
Make a bounce
this?
now. Woo!
I'm gonna make your bubba bounce right now.
Oh no.
Gonna make your bubbles bounce. Get ready.
Hold on. Is that guy wearing a silk shirt?
It looks that way, yes.
And
Silk, satin, something like that. It's shiny.
and like leopard or zebra print to boot.
That lady's pregnant too.
Oh my gosh. And she's sitting in an inflatable, it looks like a pool toy, but it's
I think it's
designed to be a recliner.
I think it's one of those inflatable chairs, like you know how they make those inflatable couches and stuff you can put in your house, which I don't know anyone that's actually ever done that. I've just seen the products.
That's
a thing.
That's a thing. Like that's designed for the house and not for the pool.
Yep. It's like
But why?
your guess is as good as mine. I guess if you want a couch for $10 that they can ship free and Prime, then yeah, that'd be the way to go.
$10 couch. You got to blow it up first, though.
See, my luck would be I'd be sitting there watching TV and it'd spring a leak and just be like,
Yeah, you know what kind of dogs I got in there. It'd last all of 20 seconds once it got inflated with those hooligans.
they'd hop up there and just hear, and that'd be it.
Yeah, they'd get up there. Their claws would get kind of scrapey, Dad.
Reminds me if you have a cat. He gets up there and is like clawing it like they do on a couch. It's
Yeah,
like,
that making biscuits thing. Next thing you know, you is that not what you call it?
I mean, technically they call. Mom always called it kneading when they were kneading, so I guess that's like bread. Making biscuits.
We usually use the various. Well, we say making biscuits. Making biscuits.
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 Something like that. It's that's just what I've always called it.
The cat's making biscuits.
Yeah. That's some of that terminology that's been around
Like
in my immediate family for a long time.
It's like you
And-
probably made it up as a kid, one of you, and then it just kind of stuck. And now you,
Yeah, exactly. Or years back, Nicole and I had this thing where we would say, "Are you about ready to go to bed?" was completely condensed into bagel bed. So at the time we had a cat named Pancake, and we'd say, "Pancake, bagel bed?" It means pancake, are you about ready to go to bed? It's just really condensed. It's so much easier to say.
that's so condensed.
I know. I still say it to my dogs to this day. I say, "Come on, big puppies, bagel bed." Give it a try. You won't stop.
It just sounds like you're mush mouthing it or something. Better go bed.
I know. Oh, man, I'm tired of bagel bed.
I'm better go bed.
Pretty much. But it works. And when you start saying it, you don't stop saying it.
It's like, what do you call the dogs now? Tubes and containers.
Tubes and containers. It's just the progression of nicknames.
Yeah, your animals always had amazing nicknames.
I know.
I'll never forget Chunky Wheelbarrow Pants.
Yes. That one was popular enough that it had a reincarnation. There was another generation of Chunky Wheelbarrow Pantses at my parents' place because the story got told about my brother naming a cat Chunky Wheelbarrow Pants, and my kids thought it was hilarious. So they and my mom named one of her cats Chunky Wheelbarrow Pants. But It's the same thing as every other cat down at my parents' place, where it's kind of like a revolving door because of coyotes.
Yeah.
You get attached to a cat and it'll stick around for 6 months and then just mysteriously be gone.
Yeah.
That's country life.
Pretty much.
Where'd my favorite cat go? I don't know, but it's time to find a new favorite cat.
Yeah, there was what? There was school bus, wasn't there?
Yeah, we had bus driver, I think.
What about, remember Brad? He peed in my car one time?
Oh my gosh. Brett peed in your car?
Pretty sure.
I did not remember that. I remember Brett. He was being a jerk to one of the other cats. He's a big old tomcat, so he was trying to put the moves on one of the girls, and I was like, leave him alone. Yeah, I was a little kid and coming up to this cat, will you leave her alone? Shaking my finger at him like I could really stop him. And
Yeah, the cat's like, oh, I see the error in my ways.
he just kept doing it. He was chasing her, and he finally hit the point where he kind of like grabbed onto her. He hadn't
Done his stuff.
taken his moves to the next level yet, but he had like stopped, but he stopped enough that I could get a hold of him. So I ran up and I grabbed him, and it was, I'm trying to think of what you would even throw like this. It was almost like a frisbee golf disc or something where you hold it back to your side.
Like a discus or something?
Yeah, a discus, and then you whip it around. And I just whipped him around like that, trying to get him away from that other cat. And he twirled. He twirled at a 360. He just like whipped around in a circle and went about 15 feet because I was a little kid. I couldn't throw him very far, and he was a big tomcat. He just whipped around in a circle and then landed on his feet and just stood there and stared at me for like a full 5 seconds, so confused at what I did, and then he ran away.
Well, imagine being in his place. Like, you're laying down the moves, and then someone just grabs you, spins you in 360 degrees, about 15 feet, and you lay on your feet just kind of looking around like, what just happened?
Yeah. I am a discus.
Yeah.
And I stop and look. And the little kid's over there with like the mission accomplished look.
What just happened to me?
You got thrown, dude.
Going to bed.
Yeah. Bagel bad, Brad.
Oh, man. Yeah.
We had so many random cats back then, and we named them so many different things.
Yeah, when I first started hanging out with you guys, your cats had like semi-normal names, but then I think you guys went through so many of them they just got.
Oh yeah, we started
crazier.
naming them. We named a cat Puppy. We named a cat Poop, and he couldn't meow right. He'd just say, that was the way he meowed. I don't know why. It's
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's just the way those cats were. Poop couldn't meow right, and Peaches had diarrhea every day. Every single day.
I remember that cat. I picked him up one time. He crapped all over me.
Oh, my brother was like bouncing on the trampoline. I think it was with Peaches or Sammy, one of them. And he like landed on his back, and he was holding the cat up above his face.
Oh, no.
It had diarrhea on his face. It was... It was not good.
Oh,
But
that's awful.
yeah, he was so confused as to what happened. My brother, like when he actually got animal feces upon his face, he completely froze. He had that several second gap where he just didn't know what to do. And then he finally just chucked the cat over to the side of the trampoline and ran inside to wash up immediately. And I recall making some snarky comment about Hershey syrup, and that was the end of it.
Yeah. That was the term that was used in that point in time.
Yeah. And with Peaches always having diarrhea, do you remember what that cat meowed like?
No.
It was another one where it was very abnormal. And every meow it ever did the whole time we had it was like... It sounded constipated, but ironically, it had diarrhea frequently.
Oh, that's horrendous.
That poor cat.
Oh. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, I did see one of our cats one time. was stuck on top of our garage, and I thought, oh my gosh, I got to help get it down. So I go and try and find a step ladder so I can get up there and help it. Well, right when I go to get this ladder, of course, I'm close to setting it up. I'm walking over, and this cat just decides it's going to jump off the garage. So it just Supermans off this thing and lands on the ground, and I didn't see how it landed. But when it got up, it like turned and tried to walk away. It didn't even run away like you would expect a cat to. It just walked away, and it walked in front of our garage door, and every step it would just like bang its head against the side of the door. Like when it jumped off, it completely scrambled its eggs in the worst way. Like,
Oh my!
yeah. Its center of gravity was just like thrown off. He was totally off balance and just
My cat has an inner ear problem now.
exactly. That's what it did. It had to have been something like that. Because when you just summarize it, yeah, the cat jumped off the garage and then it started walking along the side, banging its head against it because it was all jingled up.
Oh, he may have actually had a screw loose in his head.
Yeah. It's actually a devastating medical condition. You should be ashamed of yourself for laughing at it.
My cat would be offended at you right now.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Oh,
Well, you know what?
oh yeah, we didn't finish the video.
Oh my gosh. A little bit more of this. A bub.
Yeah, it gets awkward.
Gonna
So it's
make
a-
your butt bomb bounce. Here I'm come.
There's silk shirts, there's vests, there's white slacks.
And then this guy.
I'll make your bubs bounce.
Who is that guy? Is he a regular on this show?
I'm pretty sure, but he is super gross.
I've definitely seen him before because this is exactly the kind of stuff my brother likes to share with me.
Make a bounce now.
The sounds it made with that. Oh. But why those sounds? Those sounds.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, there's some real doozies out there.
Yeah. Anything from Tim and Eric.
Is usually hit or miss.
Yeah. It's, oh, wow. I do have some friends that have gone to see that Tim and Eric live show, and one of them got pulled up on stage. He said it was one of the greatest moments of his life.
That's unfortunate.
Sounded like he had fun.
I got married, I have 4 kids, but this was the best moment of my life.
Yes.
Trumps it all.
I've been to some good shows. Never anything that would be in the caliber of Tim and Eric.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing. I got nothing on that.
Yeah. I bet it'd be cool seeing a show like that, like Tenacious D or something along those
I
lines.
wish we could have gone to that. That would have been so much fun.
I know. It's so stupid. I like going and seeing live shows like that, but it's like, oh yeah, you enjoy this band, you want to see them perform live? Cool. Well, if you want a good enough seat to enjoy it at all, it'll be $500.
Yeah.
Like, there's a very long list of things as an adult that I could do with $500 that would not entail being completely over in about 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, oh, you're going to go see this show. It's going to be $500 and you're going to get to sit there for like 2 to 4 hours and watch a show, maybe that long. When you could just like take a trip for a whole week to like Thailand or something, just about the same price.
Yeah. $500. I mean,
I could buy a lot of nice stuff for $500 that lasts longer than one evening.
yeah, I could pick up and drive my family up to Chicago or something on a $500 budget, eat some really nice meals, cover a decent hotel room, and hang out in the city for a full weekend, as opposed to 2 hours by myself.
I could take the family to Mattoon and stay for a whole week.
They have a Super 8 over there?
Oh yeah, they got a real nice Holiday Inn.
Oh, is it an express or
It
a
is an
regular?
express. It's got the good breakfast and the pool.
Ooh. Ooh. All right.
Weekend with the family at the Holiday Inn Express.
I stayed at a Ramada Inn one time.
And it was still not bankrupt?
Is that company bankrupt now?
I don't know, but I haven't seen one in forever.
The one I stayed at, it was by the St. Louis airport. And it wasn't necessarily a bad part of town, but apparently the property boundaries of that hotel chain in that area was an exception. It was the bad part of town.
Right?
I got in there and it's granted you have like the concrete and plaster walls and stuff like that when you're walking around the outside and like through the kind of downstairs hallways or whatever. And it just, the entire place had the fit and finish and look of like unpainted drywall. Like it was just sketchy. Everybody there, they kind of look you up and down when you walk by, where you're like, they're either trying to sell something to me or take something from me. It's one of those two.
Every time you book a weekend with us, you get a romantic couples axe slaying.
Yes. And it was one of those things where we crammed a bunch of people into a room so that because we were just trying to stay as cheap as possible before we flew out the next
Now,
day.
it sounds like a good place for that.
Yeah, we didn't spend much time there, but also, I mean, it's the kind of thing where the bed, even though it says it's a queen, it doesn't feel like a queen, and like the bed sheets feel like they're just sandpapery, and they roll in a cot, and it's got blood and urine all over it.
Sounds like my kind of place.
Yeah, it was sketchy. It was such a sketchy part of town, you had to drive a whole 5 minutes before you hit a Texas Roadhouse.
There wasn't an Outback Steakhouse to be seen. The best part of that hotel, though, is probably they had hourly rates, siesta rates, you know.
Oh, I bet they did, but that's not what we took advantage of. But
Did I ever tell you about the time I got lost in the bad part of St. Louis?
no.
So Jen was going to, I think, Florida. And me and the kids, we dropped her off at the airport. And on the way back, it was, middle of the day. So I was like, you know what? We're already in St. Louis. I'll take the kids to the zoo. It's free. You just got to pay for the parking or whatever. And so on the way back, I turned and I remembered Kings Highway. I remember that's the one that goes past Barnes, and Barnes is nice over there, and it comes out right where I need to be, and I can just get on the interstate and hop right over to the zoo. Well, it turns out if you're north of Barnes at all, you're in an awful neighborhood, like just awful. And so like we go down I stop at the gas station to get gas, and as I'm getting gas, there's like 4 cop cars there, and the kids wanted something to drink, so I was like, I locked the car because News is not in a great neighborhood. I was like, yeah, I can see the car the whole time, so I'm gonna lock the car, I'm gonna go in and get a bottle of water and then come back out. So I go in, and there's this huge black lady sit at the counter. There's this big line behind her. So I get the bottle of water and I go up to the counter and I'm waiting in line. I'm thinking, okay, I don't need to stay in here too long. The car's running, the kids are out there, it's all locked, but it ain't a neighborhood I want to stay around in.
Yeah.
And I look up there to see what this lady's doing, and she has this strip of scratch-off tickets, and she's sitting at the counter with her coin, just scratching them off. And she gets the last one. I'm like, okay, maybe she's leaving now. Nope, she hands it over. They give her money. She hands the money back to them. They give her another strip of scratch-off tickets. She sets it down and just starts scratching. I was like, all right, screw this. So I just put the water on the counter, go out in the car, and then start driving down the highway, or Kings Highway, the road. And I get about 2 blocks down, and it just starts getting sketchier and sketchier and sketchier. And it's funny because, I'm in the Explorer. All the people down there were black, but you could tell when they were looking at me that they're like, why is there a white guy here? And so I'm driving down, like all the stores have like bars on the windows. There's like a Star Men's Fashion. It has like the guy in like I don't know what you call those, but it looks like a Hawaiian shirt and like pants that are kind of made of that same material, but it's all like one print. Have you seen those? Like a
jumpsuit?
No, it's like a two-piece thing. It's like, you got like, it's almost like pajama pants with like a Hawaiian shirt, but it's all like leopard print or something like that. And it's like, that's what's on the side of this building. And
like a tracksuit or something? This is a completely foreign concept to me.
I'll look one up here in a minute. But yeah, so it has this on the side. There's like weave stores. There's all kinds of just this stuff. And they've all got bars in the windows. It's a bad-looking neighborhood. And I'm like, okay. And I start looking around. I'm like, man, I need to get out of here. And the first thing that pops in my mind is, I'm a white guy. I'm in a neighborhood like this. It's kind of racist to be like, oh, there's just black people around. It's got to be a bad neighborhood. Well, then I stopped and started looking. I'm like, there's bars on the clothing store. It's not that they're black. I'm in a bad, bad, bad neighborhood.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with race at that point. It has to do with safety.
Like, if every one of these people had been white guys in wife beaters or something, I would have felt just as unsafe.
Exactly. There's bars in the windows in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Feel the same way. I get it.
Yeah. So I get on down. I get all the way down. We go to the zoo. But, yeah, don't go down that road.
I didn't realize that it was so sketchy that close to Barnes, because Barnes has got like a really nice children's hospital in there.
Well, and if you get on either side of Barnes, it's a bad neighborhood. If you go north of Barnes, it's a bad neighborhood. I mean, like Ferguson's right over there by Barnes. It's not too far.
Really?
Yeah.
I never realized it was that close.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, I mean, yeah. It was funny because I'm pretty sure all those people were just laughing at me. And they're just like, this guy's freaking out.
What is this dude doing? I'm driving with my kids.
Yeah.
We're going to see the sights.
Yeah. Good Lord, Ashley. Roll the windows up. Yeah, no, it's funny. Let me see if I can find one of those.
What are you looking for now?
Oh, I can't find one of those. One of those suits. But it was just...
Are you making this up? Hawaiian pajamas or something?
No, it's... I don't know what you call those. I've never seen... I don't see them anymore.
It sounds like pajamas. It sounds like
It's like...
Hawaiian wear. It sounds like a tracksuit. It sounds like a jumpsuit.
I don't know what you call it. I looked it up. I couldn't find anything. I don't even know what you call it. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, when you see one, you'd know what I'm talking about, but it's...
One of those things where you see it and you say, oh.
You're like, that description makes perfect sense now.
I wouldn't have a clue what to call that.
Yeah, because I don't know what you call that.
Yeah. I've never claimed to be a fashion aficionado.
That's apparent.
Insulting. I get dressed in the morning, I look in the mirror, and all I hear is... soundtrack to my fashion.
I make that sound in the morning.
Drink a half a pot of coffee.
Just open your mouth and out comes. Well.
Oh, hang on. Wait, out of your mouth?
Yeah, just right out of my mouth.
The kids say, "Good morning, Dad," and you say... Yeah, for me, usually I drink a half a pot of coffee, sit down on the toilet. Fantastic. I swear. That song, I don't know why, but it's been like the soundtrack to something awkward happening for years in my head.
Yeah.
Even to the extent of me forgetting, like it had been such a long time since I heard it, I couldn't even remember what the song was called. I just knew who sang it and what album it was on, but...
You had to go listen to the whole album then.
Yeah. Oh, it's bad. Well, the band was Morella's Forest, and it was during that era of the 90s when, like, No Doubt was popular with, like, the girl-fronted rock band and all this. But it was also kind of in the whole, like, grunge era to where, like, fuzz-sounding guitars were the thing to do.
Yeah, that real sound.
Yeah, when basically everybody just wanted nasty-sounding guitars, and that's all well and good, but I don't know. At some point, you're crossing a line.
Yeah, where it goes from grungy guitar to just noise.
Yeah, that's. I feel like in the studio, they would tell the producer, can we just like put a layer of white noise from the TV behind everything just to kind of accentuate what we're going for?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, like a. Yeah, that's the tone I want. Mid-range? Not on this song, honey. Ah.
You should record your next song with the mid turned all the way down and the low end turned all the way down and the treble turned all the way up.
Yes. It's interesting when you record stuff, like you can EQ certain things. Sometimes you want like a lo-fi drum loop, or you want a section of a song to sound lo-fi, and you literally just hack all the treble out of it, hack all the low end out of it, and you just leave that mid-range, and depending on where you set those parameters, you can just make it sound like it's coming through a telephone.
Which is what every band wants.
Exactly. Most people use it for like a quick little transition or something. I like to put it on the whole song.
Yeah. Just the whole album, just do it that way.
Exactly. When people go through a drive-through and they hear that person talking to them about their order, the first thing they think is, I wish I could listen to an album through that. Awesome.
Yeah. And it's not even like the drive-throughs nowadays. Like they've gotten the sound a lot better on those. I'm talking like 1989 going through like Drewby's Crackles type drive-through where it's just like
Yeah, literally sounds like they wrapped like a wet dish rag around the microphone they're talking through.
like they have one of those outdoor like cone speakers and something's broken. It's like it's not that it's already bad, but
whatever's happening with it, something is broken internally. That
you take one of those ones that just sounds like total crap, then you just poke a hole in the speaker, and then you talk through it.
You know what? That actually does work because Max had this little toy airplane, and it was so cool because it was just peppered with LEDs, just like green and red and blue and orange, and it was so bright. You could turn the lights off in the house, and this thing acted like a flashlight. It was so bright. But you push the button to make those lights come on, it was paired with the most obnoxiously loud airplane engine sound I've ever heard come out of a toy. And, I mean, this thing was like so loud. I mean, shockingly loud. And I just thought, okay, I'm going to do everybody in this house a favor right now. And I pulled the battery compartment, the little door off of there, pulled all the batteries out, and I found a way to kind of split the housing. I split it open, and I found the speaker in there, and I saw that it had it had wires running to it. I was like, okay, it's enough of a mess in there with the little circuit board and wires going everywhere. I can't tell what's what because of all these LEDs. There's just a ton of wires. So I just said, okay, I know for a fact this one's running to this side of the speaker. I can't see what's on the other side, so I'm just going to cut this wire right here and cut the sound off of it. Then he can have all the light he wants, and nobody's getting annoyed with it. I don't know what that wire did, but I cut it, and the thing was unfazed, 100%, just as loud. And I was so confused. I thought, what did that wire do if I just completely cut it off and it didn't change a thing? So, I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to completely dismantle the thing to the point to where I couldn't get it back together. So what I did is I flipped it upside down, and just like a telephone receiver back in the day, it had the little honeycomb of the dots poked in there for the speaker to get the sound out through. So I took the smallest screwdriver I could find and I just stabbed it through every one of those holes and just punctured the cone in there as many times as I could. It still makes noise to this day, but stabbing it with a screwdriver approximately 25 times reduced the volume by half.
Nice.
So it did accomplish in a roundabout way what I wanted.
You know, that's a good thing to know because, you know, like if you can't find the remote to your TV and you need to turn your surround sound speakers down, just start poking holes.
Exactly. Just stab it a couple times.
So 25 times is half volume. So, I mean, you want to turn down a quarter, just 12?
That would essentially be the equivalent of having a remote where the down volume button, when it goes down, it stays down forever.
It's the permanent down volume.
Yeah. When I want to slow my car down, I usually just open the door and just throw something sharp under my tires. It slows me down forever.
Oh, gosh. That's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. That's kids' toys are absurd. I don't know why so many of them make noise. Nicole has always been very smart with the way she handles this. She would say, if it's a toy that makes noise, it can stay at Nana's house.
That's exactly what you do. Of course, when you have, excuse me, when you have siblings with kids, what you do is, because we always did this with Jen's siblings, when it's a kid's birthday, you get the loudest toy you can possibly get a hold of and then give it to that kid. Make sure it's fun, too, because if it's just loud, they're not going to play with it. But you get something that's loud and fun, I'm going to play with it all day, every day. And you've successfully messed with your sibling, so.
Yes. I was going to say, with the sibling, I could see that working well. If it's like a friend of yours,
Yeah.
it depends on how much crap you can give that friend and it still be playful.
Right?
If it's a stranger, then it's just a hostile gesture.
Works, though.
Yeah, the kid opens it up and the parent makes eye contact with you with that
You're just
"what
like-
is wrong with you" look. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, that's
You know
Awful.
you know what my daughter brought home this past week?
bed bugs.
No. She apparently gets to play some kind of Humpty Dumpty song at school on
H. Humpty?
on a recorder. H. Dumpty's. The clothing store for plus size kids.
I'm H. Dumpty.
More evidence that King of the Hill is the best show ever made. But she brought home the recorder, and I don't know. I'm sure I played a recorder when I was a kid, but it's been a lot of years. But I picked this thing up and tried playing it because she was playing it, and it was sounding a little rough. And I thought, well, I like to play music. I'm gonna try it. So I grabbed this thing, and I realized there is such a sweet spot to playing the recorder. If you don't blow hard enough, then you can put your finger on any of the holes, and it doesn't make a bit of difference at all. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the same note the whole time. You can touch any of the holes because you're not blowing hard enough. You blow too hard, and it does. You blow
Too hard.
If you blow too hard.
I'm
Then-
still just laughing at the fact that you said there's a sweet spot for playing a recorder.
The world has never experienced a sweet spot when it comes to recorders.
You're going to be the Kenny G of recorders.
Oh my gosh. There's some stuff on YouTube, I tell you.
I love the bad ones. Those are the best.
The guy playing. Wait, what was Was it the slide whistle thing?
Oh, yeah, that was great.
That was great. Moral of the story: if you don't blow it hard enough, the notes don't change. If you blow it too hard, everything sounds like that.
That like you're blowing it too hard sound.
That extra squawky sound. So it requires more skill than I thought to get it to where it even registers notes at all, let alone anything. Like, I don't know. Mad respect for Dwight Schrute for being able to play like an actual recognizable song on there, because I couldn't do it.
That's funny. Yeah, well, it's supposed to be not that bad to play once you figure it out. It's just kind of a...
By whose standards?
I don't know. I've always heard that. I've never really tried to play one.
Just as far as difficulty, not
Right.
bad to
Like, I
play.
mean, you're not.
As far
not
as
like-
usefulness.
Yeah. I was say, I don't know who would be like trying out for like college orchestra with the freaking recorder.
Trying to meet the ladies, and you got a quote special date night planned.
I'm gonna play some romantic music.
Yeah, picnic in the park with a recorder solo right in her face, man. Right out in public,
Yeah,
so everybody can
everyone's
hear
like-
it.
Everyone's stopping like, is that guy playing a recorder? I haven't played one of those since grade school.
Yeah, then there'd always be that one guy who'll be like, "Yeah, buddy, all right."
That's my favorite song. Let me try it.
And then you in your fake modesty say, "Oh, you heard that?"
You know what that makes me want to do? It makes me want to learn how to play recorder, go to Starbucks, and just sit in a corner and play it. And just the whole time, like, make eye contact, be like, I play the recorder.
I'm pretty sure if you set a timer on your phone for 60 seconds and that timer went off and you hadn't been kicked out yet, I'd be surprised.
We should try it. Let's do it at Jimmy John's.
Duh. I just don't want to. I don't want to smell that place. Free smells.
I'll give you-
Ew.
Wait around a few more minutes. I'll give you a free smell.
Yeah, it smells like the employers are doing that all day. It seriously sounds like.
Now you-
It smells in that place like they're baking bread and making sandwiches with like a giant heap of dirty laundry in the corner that's been there for like a month. So it's starting to get that sour tinge to it.
Now, you were saying it smelled like bread and dirty socks. So does it smell like bread that smells like dirty socks, or does it smell like dirty socks that smells like bread?
No. I think my description was accurate when we were talking to Adam, where I said if you took 2 loaves of French bread and hollowed them out and wore them as shoes for a week, this is like full-blown physical activity. Like you go to the gym, you go to work, you do everything
Or maybe you like
wearing bread shoes.
wear your regular socks, get them nice and stank, chop them up into bits, and bake them in a loaf of bread.
But why?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, kind of. Not very good, Dad.
Not very good, Dad, indeed.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man. What you doing over there?
Well, you know. In reference to wearing bread for shoes. I just love that concept. I really do. Because it gives such a vivid mental picture of someone walking around with loaves of French bread on their feet.
We need to get a couple loaves of French bread, and then you need to stick them on your Tootsies, and then take a picture.
Yes. Yes. I have no social media, so
I
you
can-
have to
I can
do
post
yourself
it.
a favor and post it if we do that.
Oh, heck yeah, I can post that.
Next time we hang out, we're going to go to Walmart and get French bread.
Yeah, we're going to have to get some big old loaves, though. You can't get those little skinny ones.
I know. I wear size 13. Are you?
Or you could.
Are you 12?
10 and a half, 11-ish. Somewhere in
What?
between there.
I thought you had manlier feet than that.
No.
Wah, wah.
You know what they say about small feet? Small socks.
What was that? Was that you I was talking to about somebody that had small feet but large shoes and Ronald McDonald?
No.
What was
sounds,
that?
Sounds interesting.
Oh, that was on a podcast Isaac was listening to today. It was Chris D'Elia's podcast, and he was gone, so Theo Vaughn filled in for him. And if you don't know who Theo Vaughn is, do yourself a favor and look that dude up, because he looks like if you took like a 7-year-old kid running around in a trailer park and just transformed him into an adult with that exact same style and everything. That's what he looks
awesome.
like, but he's really hilarious. And he took over Chris's podcast and basically just imitated Chris the whole time. It was a real trip listening to it because he was having a lot of fun with it.
That's pretty funny. Oh. But yeah. Oh. Yeah, we're definitely making bread shoes next time.
Oh, yes. That's just a good idea. All the way around. Oh, man. I told you at some point when you listen to podcasts and whatnot, I probably shouldn't play this, but Alex Jones, this is the guy you got to listen to at some point.
Oh, yeah? Pretty good.
Yeah, like this guy, oh my gosh, he's a trip.
Is it Dr. Phil?
20 years ago, they had cows that produced human milk. 20 years ago, they had spiders that produced body armor, spider guts. Okay? They have human-animal hybrids 30 years ago. They've got giant human tissue farms.
And that's where you lose me.
Bull.
Seriously?
That's it right there. Every time I bring up a subject, you know all about it.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
25.
Dude, this guy's so animated, too.
He is off the rails. Like, do yourself a favor and listen to him. When he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, Isaac sends me a text like the day after it comes out, and he said, Alex Jones is on Rogan again. He said, I'm like 25 minutes into it, and he's currently talking about how when they switch over to the 5G signals, it's going to scramble your DNA and all this. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was a real trip. Yeah, this guy is very animated. And also, just for future reference for your entertainment, there are lots of YouTube poop videos of Alex Jones.
Fantastic.
Yeah. You're gonna love him.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was enjoying listening to Rogan's show. I mean, I don't really listen to podcasts. Figured if we're going to do this, I might as well learn.
Yeah. I mean, there's different genres, obviously. There's like the comedy genre, and sometimes they'll get into talking about serious stuff, and that's all well and good. Like, perfect example would be Joey Diaz, the Church of What's Happening Now. He is a comedian. They always have funny conversations. The guy just has hilarious terminology when it comes to
everything,
to life in general. But, he'll get real sentimental. He'll talk about heavy things and friends passing away and all this. So it's very well-rounded, where Rogan, he's a comedian, but he also brings in a lot of, like, deep thinkers. He'll have, like, professors and, like,
right,
political science people, and then, like, conspiracy theory guys and dogs. Stop. They want in here so bad. But he brings in all kinds of different people. The comedians tend to kind of not just tell jokes 24/7.
Well, I was going to say, I feel like there's like a few different types of podcasts. Like you have the ones where they're doing, say, something specific. Like I know I've seen some where it's like there's a history podcast where they like spend an hour talking about a war, or they spend an hour talking about a monarch or something like that. And then there's like the ones like Rogan where there's not really a goal. They just kind of get on there and everyone just kind of talks. And then, like the one I watched, they had Ron White on there, and they just basically told stories the whole time.
Yeah. And that's really entertaining when guys are just telling stories. That's some of my favorite stuff. Like Joey Diaz's podcast, I've watched a little bit of his stand-up, and it's good. I think he's good at what he does. But I like his conversation and his storytelling so much better than the actual stand-up, because it's not like written material. It's just completely raw. It's more so a reflection of who he is, not what he can produce.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm going to start listening to more. I'm kind of liking them.
Yeah, they're good. And I really got into several like true crime type things as well they're pretty interesting, because basically what makes them good is when someone has the ability to narrate it almost in a way that like a news story would read or something like that.
We used to listen to a podcast, I think. Ventures in Odyssey.
Was that like early Christian podcast?
No.
Jeremy West, he's the man that, like, to this day, I mean...
They still make them?
I don't know if they still make them or not,
just
but
repeats or
I
something?
think well, like there has to be something current with it. He's been a fan of that for so long. You go back like 2 years and he was still listening to it on the regular at his job. And he's like, yeah, they have like a premium service on the website and I subscribe to it. The guy is committed and I respect the heck out of him for it.
That's awesome, though. Oh, have to get him some McGee and Me tapes.
Oh, I loved McGee and Me. Oh my gosh. You go back and looking, even it was total 90s like cartoon design. Mm-hmm. Where it's like the rosy red cheeks and the big nose.
Yeah,
and
everything's real round, and he's got like the big giant hair. And
yeah, the giant hair that every kid had when he rode a skateboard.
Yeah.
It's like, I think I had like a board game or something. It was a McGee and Me board game. It had to do with the Big Lie and the Not So Great Escape. I know, real cool.
Oh, you need to bring that back.
I'll tell you what, some of those games, there were always the classics. I mean, Sorry's going to stick around forever. Candyland's going to stick
Monopoly.
around forever. Monopoly. Connect 4, that's a real solid one, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, that one's moderately new, but I think it's going to be around for about ever.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Connect 4s that people make with the plywood? Like the big ones?
I've seen large scale ones. They had one at the 180 thing that my church did over the weekend for the kids.
Yeah, I mean, they're not hard to make. It'd be kind of neat to make one.
Yeah. I think my kids would flip if they could play Connect 4 on a large scale.
One like that big.
Yeah,
Use
and then
like
when
4
it's-
sheets of plywood.
When it's done, you got to figure out where in the world you're going to store that.
Yeah, I don't know where.
Yeah, the little youth building. Mm-hmm. That's a perfect place for it.
There you go.
Hey, it's a whole building for kids stuff.
You need. I guess you could build it out of that fake wood, that engineered wood stuff. You could put it outside, like the stuff they make the decks out of.
Oh, like that pressed board, whatever.
Yeah, it's
that's
like
almost like
plastic or something.
recycled plasticky
Yeah.
stuff. That stuff. You know what? I'd love to put a deck on this house someday. And whenever I do, I'm bound determined to put that stuff on it because, like, my grandma put a deck on her house a few years back. In less than 1 year's time, I had to go out and pressure wash it so she could restain it. And then
Oh yeah,
after it was stained twice, it's like, okay, in 2 years' time, it's already so bad, we've just got to paint it now. That it literally
it just falls apart.
falls apart because of the weather. So it would be basically useless in my eyes to put a deck up if you didn't use whatever that board is. I don't care if it makes it twice as expensive. It's going to cut the labor for the rest of the time you own it in half easily.
I've seen decks made out of that, and you kind of have to pay attention to which ones you get, because I've seen some that last well, and some they don't last well. Like it turns white and kind of flakes. So you have to pay attention to that too.
Yeah, that makes sense. I figure
If I was going to go anything though, I'd go cedar. It's a little more expensive, but that crap doesn't go anywhere. It's the pressure treated stuff. You got to get like the super pressure treated stuff. Like the regular stuff is not, like Mom's deck is made out of the regular stuff Dad got from Menards or whatever. And those boards are curled up. One of them's curled up like that far.
whoa.
I had to replace the whole board, and it's hard. It's actually hard. So working in cabinets, California has a law. It's the part that just went in a few years ago was the CARB 2 Phase B, where California outlawed formaldehyde, and because of that, they can't pressure treat with that stuff, and so or use it in glues or anything else. So it's actually getting pretty hard to find a good pressure treated lumber because it's all the good stuff has formaldehyde.
Huh. I did not know that.
Yep, and it's one of those deals too where like every other state it's legal in, so you could still sell it there. But if you accidentally sent one shipment to California, it's like a $40,000 fine or something. So rather than accidentally do something like that, they just take it all the way out.
Yeah, that's better than a really expensive mix-up, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, all it would take is someone putting it on the wrong truck. They put it in the trailer B instead of trailer A, and then it went to California, and we're screwed.
You ever just stop and realize how we can have conversations about like farming and cabinets and taxes and politics?
So
And you just realize, yep, we're definitely adults. And then we also have like 10, 15-minute conversations about cats with diarrhea constantly. And you're like, yep, we're still kids too.
that's the way to be, though.
I know. I like a good blend. I
So
like,
that begs the question. Like when you're putting these podcasts on, they're like, "What's your topic of your podcast?" Cabinets, diarrhea, cat, and taxes. I mean, that's what I'm getting here.
yeah, that's how do you categorize that?
Miscellaneous.
We could just call it diarrhea story time. Because somebody at some point is going to get on the podcast apps and type in the word diarrhea just to see what comes up.
And we want to be on the top of that list.
We want to be able to be right there to fulfill all your diarrhea story needs.
Bradley and Daniel, we want to be on the top of your diarrhea search bar.
The first name in diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
Oh, I should be ashamed, but I'm proud.
Yeah.
When in Rome.
Oh, it's funny too, because like, remember when you were a kid and like you'd be around your parents and you'd be like, "Ha ha, poop joke," and your parents would be like, "Oh, stop, we're in public." Yeah, I don't have that with my kids, unfortunately. I should.
Yeah.
My kids will be like, "Oh, I just farted," and I'll be like, "Good job." And I'm like, "Wait, I'm an adult. I should probably be like, don't do that. Don't do that in the elevator." But
Yeah,
I don't.
The closest I get is the kids get reined in on their toilet humor when we're at the table.
Oh yeah, no, that's the good thing. I do not want to hear about diarrhea cat while I'm eating my pizza or whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
Though you did enjoy the story about the buttery squid or buttery snail flavored gushers.
Yeah. When trying to describe what escargot was like, it's about like you'd think it was. That's how you started out.
It tastes good, but the texture is exactly what you think, which is a little bit like chewy on the outside and it's full of juice in the middle. So like you take a bite and it's a snail flavored gusher.
I remember seeing all these commercials for gushers when I was a kid, and they're biting into these things and stuff splashing and spraying, and I just thought this was going to be a radical experience to eat one of these. And when I actually ate a gusher, I was a little disappointed that it was just kind of like a gelatin in there.
Yeah.
I was like, where's all the spraying and the extreme gushing?
Yeah, you're expecting like a good like tablespoon of juice, and you take a bite, and it's just like. It's funny as too is like there's definitely a difference in the manufacturing process, because like some of them you get has a ton of the liquid in there, and you take a bite and you're like, man, this is a good one, and some you take a bite and you're like, was that empty?
It's that inconsistent?
It was for me when I was a kid. I remember that.
What has happened with quality control?
Or you get the one where like someone had like sat on the box or something, and like one of the gushers got smashed, and you open it up and all the jelly's inside the bag, and you got like 3 or 4 just totally deflated ones, and you're like, oh, lunch ruined.
Oh, Aunt Susan sat on the box. Now half my gushers are ruined. Yeah. What a 90s kid problem.
Right?
That's back in the day, man. Eating gushers, following up your pizzeria chips and your Ecto Cooler High C juice box.
And trading your fruit by the foot for a gushers.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Fruit by the foot was so awesome. I love that stuff.
You're an adult with money. You can buy some now.
It's still made?
Oh, yeah.
I went to a candy store in Chicago one time.
No way.
And was very pleased
Really?
to see that they had fruit stripe gum there.
Oh, yeah.
Yipes stripes, fruit stripe gum.
The tattoos.
Oh, yeah. It was good stuff. And it was in a specific, like, nostalgia section of candy where they like, it was a little series of shelves over on this one wall. And the whole area was geared towards candy from your childhood.
That's awesome.
It was like, holy cow, Necco wafers. Like,
Necco. Whoever. So- I don't get Necco. I get Necco wafers when they started because that was back when like candy was gross, right? But like, I don't get it now. Like, who's like, man, I really want some wax paper full of chalk. It's like rainbow colored chalk. It's delicious.
I totally understand. And I don't get it. It's anything that is that close to an antacid.
Yeah.
Just does not seem like candy to me.
I mean, let's be real here. A Tums is probably more candy than that thing is.
I like your let's be real here. Everybody needs to get real. If you're in the mood for candy and you think Tums is an acceptable substitute, you need to find different candy.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Or remember those, like the soda bottles? The wax soda bottles?
Oh, anything that had like juice and wax, I had a real problem with.
Well, and I always thought was funny was like you get the juice, and the juice would like burn going down, like it was like cough syrup or something.
Ew.
Like you take a bite, and you'd be like, "This is awesome," but in reality, if you like think about it, you're like, "Those were disgusting."
I never got to taste the juice because I'd try and bite into the wax, and the way it felt on my teeth was so problematic. It made my skin crawl. I couldn't stand it, so I'd never touched them.
I'm going to Casey's, and I'm getting you some next time.
They still have them?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, I know they have like the circus peanuts or whatever.
Okay.
All that other
Dad
gross
loved
crap.
those. I despised them forever.
I've never had one.
Oh, they're awful.
Let's just go buy all this horrible stuff the next time
We'll
we
make
do
a
one of
list,
these,
yeah.
and we'll do a taste test of just how terrible all of this bad candy is.
You know how Necco wafers taste?
Yes.
Think of a Necco flavored marshmallow, and that's a circus peanut. It's like chalky and like not sweet and like doesn't really dissolve right like a marshmallow. It's like a stale
Yeah,
marshmallow.
I feel like I know exactly what the texture would be like.
Yeah, not good.
Not good. As a matter of fact, bad. Just to be specific about it.
You remember the candy buttons everyone used to get?
Yeah.
And they were literally just like, it's just like crystallized sugar that they painted like rainbow color, and you just like peeled off paper and ate it. Usually the paper came with it, so you're eating like a paper-backed piece of sugar.
Yeah, you rip the paper off, it only gets about 80% of it. And you're like, well, I guess I'm eating the rest of this because I'm sure not going to work at it that hard.
Or you get it off and you're like, well, I'm not going to throw this one away.
Yeah. What am I supposed to do? Snap off that side?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's like the little kid equivalent to like picking cigarette butts out of a ashtray to smoke. It's like, well, it's kind of gross, but
Make do. It's like dropping something on the floor. You just anytime I drop
it's like
any
dropping
kind-
gum on the floor.
Oh, okay, that's way worse. Anytime I drop food of any sort on the floor, the first thing I think is, when was the last time I swept that floor, and how long have the dogs been running around post sweeping?
Have I stepped in dog feces lately?
Yes. Is there anything on this piece of food that is sticky enough to pick up what's on that floor? Because if it's if it's like one of those little veggie straws or just a chip or something, nothing's gonna stick to
You just
that.
blow it off.
Pick it up and
When
eat
you're
it.
done.
Go for it. You drop a piece of Jell-O,
Roll it around a little bit.
every manner of debris that you have floating around on your floor is now a part of your Jell-O, and you are fixing to ingest that.
Yeah,
So you
whatever's
just
there.
come to terms with it if that's what you're gonna do.
You may be a cat later and hacking up a hairball, but
Duh. I got enough dog hair floating around.
shouldn't have had a husky.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have long-haired dogs, but it's still, even though they're short-haired, it's hitting that season where it's starting to warm up, so they're gonna start shedding.
They're going to defluff.
I'm gonna have. That's why I'm really glad that since I got like laminate floors in the house here, I'm glad that I made the smart guy bachelor decision to buy a gymnasium mop so I can mop up the dog
go.
hair in like 60 seconds. So the whole downstairs.
I think the real like lazy single or bachelor sort of guy solution for that would be concrete floors with the drain in the middle.
You could take a hose and rinse off anything in your house. It's fantastic. So basically, you want to live in the shower
Yes.
of the locker room at your local high school.
Yeah, no, not even like tile or anything, just flat out concrete. I want to live in a garage, basically.
There you go. And when I specified the shower, I meant like a concrete area with a drain in the middle and the ability to wash. And in no way is that a suggestion of nudity with a community of any sort. Like, yeah, you should just live in a locker room in a high school. You know. And you're like, no, I don't know. What's wrong with you?
Sounds like a good idea.
I'm afraid I've been misunderstood.
You know, that wasn't the idea I was going for, but
Yeah. I'm not sure what I was trying to get across with my point, but
sure wasn't that.
yeah, it wasn't that at all. Something has gone terribly wrong. So, while on the topic of disgusting candies, we also covered the pizzeria chips. Rest in peace, because I
Yeah.
missed those. They were amazing. And the High C Ecto Cooler.
They brought those back, though, didn't they?
I don't know.
I think they brought those and Surge both back.
I know they brought Surge back. Did they bring back the Ecto Coolers for like the new Ghostbusters movie?
I think so. And I think you can still get it on Amazon maybe, or you can find it like specialty, but it's not like, you're not going to find it at Walmart or Kroger or something.
It's not the same, though.
I'm sure it's probably not the same.
It's not Bill Murray Ghostbusters. And it's not from the 90s.
Yeah.
You got to let the high C ferment a little bit.
Oh.
It'd be pretty bad. But then you also
I
have...
like a nice high C wine.
But I did the Lancashire sandwiches, man.
Oh, gosh.
Any sandwich that they deem an acceptable way to serve it, by heating it in a microwave, that microwaved bun that absorbs the grease and moisture from the burger patty, and then they hand it to you, and the bun, it's somehow moist yet a little difficult and chewy to bite into.
Well, it's like, have you ever put like bread or something in the microwave and warmed it up? Like you got it, like you had like let's say you got like a burger from somewhere nice. You ate like half of it or something. You brought the other half back and you put it in the microwave and heat it up, and like it dries the bun out, but like only in the middle, not on the outsides.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the same thing. That's what always happened. Like you get into it, it's almost like it had a skin or something. You're just like biting into the bun. You're like, sitting there just gnawing on it like a cat with peanut butter in its mouth.
Yeah, when you have to gnaw on a hamburger bun to be able to eat it.
You remember we used to get the hamburgers and the chicken sandwiches, and we'd get the fruit snacks that looked like strawberries.
Yeah.
And then we'd stick them all over the sandwich because they were so gross.
Oh my gosh. I'm glad you're reminding me of this because it's making me feel better about seeing how my kids they get a sandwich or a burger of any sort and they're like, what do I have I can put on this?
That's
Fries, chips, fruit snacks. It doesn't matter. They want to add something to it so they feel creative. And I respect that, but I'm glad that I did it too.
You know what? You should try it as an adult. Get you a burger like McDonald's or something, and then just throw some fruit snacks on there. See if who knows? We liked it when we were kids. Maybe it was good.
You know what we did?
Of course, we also used to like wax bottles full of painful liquid.
That is true. Okay, the high school, early college era crew, which is the Daniel boys and
Right.
Aaron Eversole, all those guys. We decided we wanted to get a pizza from Pizza Hut one time.
Yeah.
And said, what kind do you want? And we got this harebrained idea. We had a giant bag of gummy worms. He said, let's just go there. And what we did, I don't even remember who ordered it. I think Aaron took the lead on this one, but walked
He is
up
the
to
expert.
walked up to the counter and they're like, what can I help you with? Okay, we'd like a large thin crust cheese pizza. What toppings would you like on it? And he hands them this bag of gummy worms and says, "These." They put them on the top. They put them on the pizza.
God bless them.
Ran it through the oven. The heat made them no longer worm shape whatsoever. It was just kind of like a sugary rainbow colored glaze over the top of the cheese. And the taste could not have been more disappointing. It was
That could have gone either way.
Yeah, it was so bad.
That's awesome.
There's lots of things that go so well with pizza, and I really think it was the combination of like sugary candy and a little bit of an acidic tomato sauce. Like those were the two that really butted heads.
Really stood out.
Yeah. It was surprising to say the least how bad it was. Like we expected it to be not very good, but
Not
we
very
didn't
good,
expect
Dad.
it to be that bad. Like it was it was next level.
That's what we need to do. We need to have a night and just make nasty food.
Oh yes.
Because I need to cook you a Twinkie Wiener sandwich.
Twinkie wiener sandwich. You just jam a hot dog down the middle of a Twinkie?
Yep.
Do you feel weird doing it?
You just cut the Twinkie down the middle, so it's like a hot dog bun. You stick it in there. Technically, if you're going to do it right, you're supposed to put the easy cheese on top too. But like you're just shaking your head, like you can't, like you don't even mean to. It's just like no.
Yeah.
No.
Because in my head, I'm picturing you turning all the lights down low, lighting some candles, and sliding this hot dog into the Twinkie real slow.
Oh yeah.
Oh no. Oh no, we've derailed so badly.
Let me put a wiener in that Twinkie for you.
A Twinkie wiener sandwich. Okay.
Thank you, UHF.
Yeah, speaking of disgusting foods, let's go ahead. You tell me the worst you've done as far as disgusting bachelor foods.
It's probably just old food. Like you leave it out overnight and then you eat it again the next day anyway, and you shouldn't have.
You've never like created something like, oh, I need to make something, and you either have to substitute an ingredient or say you just take something and you say, all right, well, these are the ingredients I have to work with. Let's just combine it and see. Perfect example would be Kathy Daniel trying to cook something. The recipe calls for sour cream. She doesn't have sour cream. In her mind, she thinks cottage cheese is practically the same thing and substitutes it, and hilarity ensues.
Nope, I have not done that. I haven't.
Maybe it's just me, so buckle up, Sonny. I got some stories. I invented something back in the college era when I was a true bachelor called shortcut to cake. It was, I will preface it with this, it was awful, and I made it more than once and ate it.
That's the worst part.
What you do, it's very simple. You whip up the cake batter, you put it in a bowl, and you microwave it.
Oh my.
Now, it cooks the outside,
But not
then
the
you've got
inside.
juice in the middle. So here's what you do. You cook the outside. This has been long enough now. I don't remember how long that takes. But once the outside is cooked, you take it and you break the outside and push it to the inside of the bowl. You stir it all together, a la bread pudding. Mm-hmm. And then you microwave it just a little bit longer. And then you're good to go. It's like cake, only maybe 30% of the tastiness of actual cake.
For half the work, I mean, that's an efficient way to make it.
Yes. You're telling me you never did anything like this?
Not that I can remember offhand.
Oh my gosh. I am a savage then when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Apparently.
Because I'll throw anything into anything. I make oatmeal and I take protein powder and stir into it.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Have you ever done?
It depends on the protein powder.
So
It can be bad.
I could see that. One of the canoe trips we did, I brought oatmeal, and I forgot to bring the stuff to go with it. So it was just oatmeal, water, no sugar, no salt, no nothing to go with it. And like I took one bite and I was like sad. Well, thankfully someone else on the trip had brought that PB2 stuff, that like powdered peanut butter.
Oh, yeah.
Mix that in. Fantastic. I recommend it, especially if you're doing like backpacking stuff or you're out somewhere where you can't you're going to bring dehydrated or dry food with you, because the oatmeal you can cook with just water, and then you throw some of that powdered peanut butter in, mix it up, and it's a tasty treat.
Well, bless the Lord.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Praise his holy name, Dan.
Bless the Lord.
That's straight out of my buddy Nate. He always has doozies like that. Classic church sayings.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, like at church, I said something to him. I don't even remember what it was. It was like, oh, yeah, this is going to be a good one, buddy. And he said, well, he will cover you in his feathers, and under his wing you will find great refuge. And just kind of nodded at me. This is Nate. This is the kind of stuff that comes out of his mouth on the regular, and he may be one of the funniest guys I have ever talked to. It's so great.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Oh, man.
But anyway, back to my horrendous cooking stories, and I can't believe you don't have bachelor ones to keep up with these. You want to hear the worst one I've ever done? The one that was inedible for me? I tried it and threw it away immediately.
Oh, I did do one of those recently. What the heck was it? Go ahead. I'll think about it while you're...
Okay. Let it churn. I'll tell you the worst one I've ever done. I made homemade pizza.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And I had a real problem with deciding what I wanted to make and starting the ball rolling before I took inventory as to what I actually had in the house.
That's when you make mistakes.
Yeah. So when you Kathy Daniel it and you have to make a substitute, sometimes it doesn't go so well. Mm-hmm. When you Brad the whole situation and you have to make like 4 substitutes, it goes real bad. Okay. So here's what we go.
It was an absolute disaster.
It was bad. I started out with pizza crust.
Okay.
I had pizza crust.
Okay, you're starting off good.
Yes, I have a solid foundation. Mm-hmm. On the solid rock, I stand. So, next is sauce. I go to grab my sauce. I don't have any. Okay, what do? I gotta have sauce.
You didn't use ketchup, did you?
Am I that predictable? I used ketchup. I'm like, it's all tomatoes. What's the difference? So I put ketchup on this.
Oh no.
Ketchup on this pizza crust like a Neanderthal.
Oh no.
So I'm like, okay. Now I gotta put some cheese on it. So I get in there, I go to grab my shredded cheese. No shredded cheese. I do, however, have cheese.
Okay. What kind?
You take one guess.
Parmesan?
No.
Kraft singles?
Ding, 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 ding. So far, we've got pizza crust. We've got ketchup.
If you just throw some ground beef on there, you got cheeseburger pizza.
We're getting there. Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay, pizza crust, layer of ketchup, some Kraft singles. We're on our way. Mm-hmm. Now I need some sort of meat to go with this. So I think, okay. I know I don't have any pepperoni or anything like that, but I've got like some sausage-style seasoning. I can use some ground beef. So I go in there, no ground beef.
Oh, no.
It's like, okay, what meat do I have? I look around. I found some meat. All I had in my house was frozen deer meat.
Oh, no. Well, yeah.
So I thawed it out and took about half the tube, ground it up, threw in like some sausage seasoning, which turned out to be awful, by the way. And
Good to know.
I put this stuff on there, and I think this is starting to not resemble a pizza at all.
I'm regretting my decisions in life right now.
Yes. So how do I remedy this? I open the cabinet. I find the Italian seasoning. Give her the old bibbity bobbity boo over the top of that. Now it's Italian food.
Oh, no.
Into the oven she goes. We bake her until she's nice and golden on the top of the Kraft singles there. I pull it out. It's on a cookie sheet. It's one of these rectangle pizzas. I take the pizza cutter and I cut it, but because it's in a cookie sheet, it doesn't go all the way to the edge, so I gotta like bust out the little sides.
Corners.
I bust one out. I pick it up. I take one bite. I set it right back down on the tray, and I walk over to the trash can and I scrape the tray clean into the trash can. It was one of the worst things I've ever tasted.
That's amazing.
And it was my own fault.
100% your fault.
It could not have been more my fault.
That's funny. You know what? Next time I make sauce, I'm going to bring you some. So that way you have sauce in your freaking fridge.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's awful.
It was really bad.
I made
Basically, I took a bite and that's
so whenever we get around to having like the clipboard or whatever they call those things where you have all the clips programmed in, that's going to be on there, isn't it?
that's number one. Yes. I feel like if I had that I could use on a daily basis throughout my life, I would a lot.
You should learn how to make Android apps. Just make a soundboard with nothing but that on there.
Yeah. You can assign 25 different things. Of course, default, they come assigned to this right here.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's so terrible.
Oh, man.
I love it.
All right. Hey, you want to hit pause real quick? I got to make tinkles.
Yeah, I probably ought to go let the pups out.
We can come back.
Will do. We'll be right back after these messages. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Woo!
Boom, boom. Oh, what a quick break.
Quick break.
Just take a little tinkle, letting the puppies out, take a little tinkle.
Is that a euphemism?
Something like that. Oh, we need a proper welcome back. Hey, we're back, everybody.
I mean, you could always go with the UHF. Hey, everybody, they're back.
Hey, everybody, they're back. What a great movie.
Yeah. Supplies.
Yeah, the mere fact that the "Hey, everybody, they're back" scene is just the second he yells that, like whatever music is going on stage is "Hey, everybody, they're back," and the music just goes.
Yeah, and all the power just turns off.
Oh, yeah, all it took was one guy yelling that, and the whole thing shut down.
My favorite part of that is the guy just like walks in, he's like, "Hey, everybody, back," and just turns around and walks away.
Yeah,
like he's not even finishing his line. He just like kind of like walks in, does a circle, goes right back out.
Yes, I've made my announcement. That is all. Which that reminds me of going to the mall with Mitchell Bogart back in the day, and there was somebody like laying on the ground. I don't know what happened. It was some kind of medical emergency that was not funny in the least.
It's getting better and better.
Yeah, great way to start the story.
I got this funny story. This person was on the ground, like having a heart attack or something, probably dying.
Serious medical emergency, but somehow we got to joking about like if they made an announcement over the speaker. But basically we were saying like, what's going on over there? People were gathering around. What's happening? And somebody said, well, why don't they make an announcement over the speaker? Mitchell's imitation of the announcement was, "May I have your attention, please? Somebody just died. Thank you." Would that really be what the announcement would be like? Perhaps.
That reminds me, speaking of things that are funny now but not funny at the time, I remember I was at the mall in Mattoon one time, And it's when I was going to Lakeland, so you're killing time between classes, and I had to take a dump. So I went to the bathroom there, and I'm sitting there taking a dump. I leave, and I go, I'm getting a drink. I think I walked into like Sam Goody or whatever that music store was that was there.
Yeah, Sam Goody was the Mattoon one.
And I came back, and the police were hauling this guy off. And like there was someone standing there, and I was like, what happened? And I was like, oh, he was in the bathroom like peeping at people under the stalls. And I was like, I was just in there.
Uh-oh. Is that somebody looking under my stall? Yeah. Oh, and life is never the same.
That's the worst possible thing you can do, because you know what my natural response to defend myself would be then? I'd look down and be like, hey, get up, and then just finish right there.
Right in your face, brother.
Just drop a bomb right on his nose.
Oh my gosh. And they actually hauled a dude off for that.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of thing you figure would happen 8 states away. You don't think it's going to happen 8 minutes away.
Not in the bathroom you just left.
Exactly.
No, here's another good one. If you want to talk about awkward bathroom things. So there was
I do.
So I was at work. Not kidding you at all. So like one of the big bathrooms at work, it's nasty. The bathrooms at this end of the place are just nasty. We tried to clean them up at one point, like paint them and get them nice, and it took them like a week to like peel some of the paint off and like draw all over the stall walls and stuff. I mean, they turned it into like a truck stop bathroom in less than a week. And so like this place, they're nasty, nasty bathrooms. It's a factory though. You go there, you do your business, you leave. It's not your vacation.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm walking past the women's bathroom because it's right there next to the aisle. As I walk past, this big old lady comes out, and she's like fixing her pants as she's coming out, and she's got a half-eaten sandwich in her mouth. Then she goes back to eating the sandwich as she's walking to the break room. So she ate half her sandwich on the toilet.
She's going circle of life there.
Yeah.
It's going in and coming out at the same time.
I gotta make room.
That is phenomenal. I was at Busch Stadium one time, and long line of guys getting into the bathroom. It was one of those where there was a little bit of a lull, and everyone decided this was the time to go hit the John. So they run their line out around the corner. Guys are running in, doing their things. You hear toilets flushing every 20 seconds, and guys are swapping out here and there. Guys are waiting for one door to open and somebody to walk out so they can jump in. And there's this guy, a couple people ahead of me in line. Very, like, Humpty Dumpty looking dude as far as physique.
Like one of those dudes that's wearing the slacks and he pulls it up a little too high and sometimes he like pokes out the bottom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was that guy. He had the glasses. He had the pocket protector.
Oh,
he had
gosh.
the short sleeve dress shirt.
Gosh.
And he goes into this bathroom, and it is full blown Hiroshima in there. You know how, like myself, when I'm in a public restroom, if I hear someone else walk in, I hesitate. I prefer to be in there by myself before the floodgates open.
Yeah.
But this guy threw caution to the wind. He's like, there's 30 other people in here, and they better get their tickets out because they're getting ready for a show. And he goes in there and unloads. It's like somebody turning on a garden hose that has been sitting outside
Yeah, with the sputter.
for like months and has air bubbles all through it, and when it comes out, it's just. I mean, he massacred this thing.
I'm about to pressure wash this toilet.
Exactly. It had to have just been a black toilet when he was done with it. I mean, it sounded like the most brutal transaction ever.
Gosh.
And just, I thought, how confident does this guy have to be that he just has no shame and can go in there and just unleash completely uninhibited in front of like 30 other people and in a public place? So either he is the most confident man in the whole stadium, or it was a full-blown state of emergency. One of the two.
It's one of those ones where you're like, I don't care if there's a line, I'm next.
Yeah. I'm just about to gouge this trucker because it's half out already and I got to finish.
So you just walk up to the line, you're like, I'm pushing cloth here, guys, get out of my way.
That's terminology that I've kind of adapted into my everyday vernacular, where if I have to pee, I will just tell someone, well, I'm half done, so I need to go finish real quick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah. But this dude, I mean, he was as bold as they come.
So, like, he sat down, and it was kind of like...
Yes. That was the soundtrack to him in the John. It was like that if you played it through a garden hose filled with air bubbles.
Oh, no. That's fantastic.
Yes, that would have made it even better if he would have said, oh no. If I would have heard that come out of the stall after the unleashing, then oh no.
It's got to be like one of those oh no's, like the oh no you do like right as you crest the hill on a roller coaster where you're just like, oh no.
The oh no, that when you realize there's no toilet paper in there.
Oh, gosh.
You're like, well, I guess I needed to buy new socks anyway.
Oh, it's party cream.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. You got to finish that documentary.
I know,
with me.
I know.
Poop talk.
It looked good.
Oh, it was great. That movie was fantastic.
Oh, man.
Just hearing those stories, I don't know why, it just brings such joy to me.
It's party cream.
It's not poop, it's party cream.
It's like, Mom, I want party cream.
I don't think you do, fella.
You know, different strokes for different folks. Oh, gosh.
Oh, no.
That's awful. That's just awful.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Well, we pretty thoroughly covered disgusting food,
Yep.
disgusting bodily functions,
Yep. Diarrhea cats.
diarrhea cats.
Oh.
What other directions we need to go here?
So, yeah, we're going to have to do this again pretty soon.
I agree. I think we'll get stuff together and try and do her again.
Yep. Time to start getting sponsors.
Exactly. I think next time we should do what we talked about when we were eating dinner. Literally, we sat down and had hours of conversation before we even
Got on here.
turned these mics on.
And then you get here and you're like, well, we've done half the show without a microphone. So.
Yeah. Next time, the second you show up at the house, you're walking straight in here. We're turning it on and going.
Yep. Just like the dude in the bathroom.
Yeah.
As soon as we get in there, we're going to just turn it on and go.
The second the door closes, it's go time.
So we'll start out the next show with, oh no.
Oh no. Yes. I feel like we found a new theme song too, for sure. Just about every disturbing situation in your life can be accompanied with the soundtrack of this. Oh my gosh. I feel like I need to make that a ringtone on my phone.
You definitely do.
Something so I can pull it up real quickly.
There you go. Just have it on there. Just put the file on your phone so that you can just like open your phone. It's right there on the front of the screen. Just hit the button.
Absolutely. I'm sure they have like a soundboard app of some sort, and if I can find one where I can upload my own samples, I'll love it. Because ages ago, I had an old smartphone, and when we were talking about those old smartphones, it was like a Windows phone. It did, in fact, have a touch
Do they
screen.
still make those?
I don't know. But this one that I had, I mean, it basically tried to act as a really small computer. There was absolutely no consideration whatsoever for the user-friendly aspect of what a cell phone would become.
Yeah.
It was just
they
like
knew what they were doing, kind of thing.
Yeah, all the buttons were small. It's just like there was almost nothing you could do with your fingertips. All of it had to be done with a stylus.
Oh no.
And back then I was like, look at me, I got a stylus and a touch screen. See?
I'm important.
I don't have to have a button because I can touch it straight on the screen and it operates. Real cool, Brad.
Yeah. Super cool, dude.
Yeah. I can load sounds too, and it only takes 40 seconds to load an MP3. Real awesome. So I remember making my ringtone on that phone. The horn sound when you lose a game on The Price is Right. So every time I get a text, it'd go boom, boom, ba-dum.
Oh no.
I got a text, so I felt like I was both winning and losing at the same time.
Did I ever tell you about the time I changed all the sounds of my computer? Because it was back when the first computer we had, Mom and Dad used it some. And I changed all the sounds to a burp.
No, you did not.
And like on XP, you could make it where it'd make a noise even when you like went over. Like, you know, you'd hit the start button, it'd make a noise. And as you scrolled over things, it would make noises. And then when the next menu would pop up, it'd make a noise. And the way I got the burp was I got a 3-liter of root beer and chugged the whole thing in one swig.
Whoa.
And then just unleashed this like window shattering belch. Put it on there and then just waited for Mom to use the computer.
Did you like linger around the corner?
Oh, yeah. And as soon as Mom went in there, it was just like, bark, 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 bark. Mom's like, what'd you do?
Oh, childhood shenanigans.
I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait for my kids to do that crap.
Yeah. I bet your mom thought it was less hilarious.
Yeah, she definitely did. Mom does not find the humor in a fart or a burp.
Carolyn, come on.
Oh, that's ridiculous, though.
We're guys. We appreciate it on a different level.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't know what it is, but I
think it's genetic.
It is.
It's down in our genes.
It is genetic for sure. I'm
Just like the
convinced
fart.
of that because I feel like our sons were just born with it.
Yeah.
And our daughters are somewhat exceptional as well because they seem to, if they're in the mood for it, they can.
Audrey's just as gross as Evan. 100%. Like, what was it the other day? I was sitting on the couch and she came up and got about where this microphone is, bent over and just ripped one. I'm just like, why would you do that? And then she just kind of giggled and was like, kind of gave me a look and walked away.
Knowing your daughter, I do not find that hard to believe at all.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yep.
All righty. Well, this has been fun.
Indeed it has.
All right. Well, until next time.
Until next time. It feels like there should be more after that, but there's not.
There isn't.
Oh, I almost forgot.
What?
Bye.
Bye.
When you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not. When you're on the pot, give it all you got. On your hon, you're hot. On your on, you're not. On your hon, give it all you got. It stings when I pee. It burns when I poop when I push real hard. Things don't go